Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with daily technical update. It is Tuesday, the 8th of October. I just have to inform you that tomorrow I will be traveling, so there will be no update, but there will be again Wednesday that is planned. It will be a little bit different time because I will be in a different time zone, but you should have your probably earlier than normal, but let's see. I hope to do so. Okay. We'll start with Nvidia today. That spiked higher yesterday, testing the 130 level again. But what is more important is that the RSI is now back above 60 threshold. So let's see if that can actually materialize into a strong uptrend towards previous all-time highs. Last time it couldn't, but maybe this time it can. We need a close above 130 for this bullish scenario to play out, where it can test previous all-time highs. So keep an eye on that. Nvidia went against the trend yesterday, where the overall market was negative, and we had S&P 500 almost 1% down. If it takes out 5,674, then I think we'll see a correction lower, and we could guesstimate where it could correct to, possibly down to around 5,585, maybe a little bit lower. But the thing with equity markets, they rarely correct as much as the FX market does. So I don't think it would be that major correction before I think we will push a little bit higher. But we do look a little bit stressed. The Nasdaq 100 got rejected at 20,041 here, and couldn't really test it yesterday. So let's keep an eye on that the next couple of days. Below 19,620, expect a correction to continue down to 19,330, around that level, possibly a little bit lower. But here we have the 100 moving average coming up, and we also have the 55 coming up, adding some support. EUROSTOXX 50 is opening and trading below, or it's currently trading below the upper falling trend line, below 49.43, and I think we could see it push lower, possibly over the next couple of days to 48.60 or 55 level, where we have a little bit support. We have the 200 coming up here, and the 55 also slightly rising. The 100 declining, but it will add a little bit support. So it looks fairly heavy at the moment, despite the fact that we are still seeing positive sentiment, but we could see this larger correction. However, if we can close above the upper falling trend line, well, then it would be a positive sign. So keep an eye on what's going on during the day. Here's the CFD. We can see support here around 48.55 area. The DAX index. The DAX index opening lower today, below 19,000. If it doesn't close this gap it has done this morning and moves back and close above 19,000, then I think we'll see a correction down to around this area here, around 18,740, maybe 18,700, with some stronger support here. And if we're looking at Germany 40, the GE40 CFD, well, then there could be room down to around 18,675 possibly. Looks fairly heavy at the moment. Really needs to get back above 19,000. The Amsterdam index also this morning below a 908 support. If it can't close back above, then well, we could slide lower below 900 to 896. And if closing below that level and also below the cloud area here, well, then we are looking at 878. The CAC index, it is still 74.64. That is key. If it does close below that, well, then we could be looking at 73.40, maybe even 7300. The Swiss market likely to test support at 11,875. RSI currently testing 40 threshold. Closing prices on both of them today will be key for the coming days and the coming week or so. If it does close below, well, then we could see a push to test the 200 moving average again, as we saw down here, and possibly lower. Oops, that was the wrong one. Sorry. Euro dollar. All right, I hit the wrong one. There we are. Euro dollar. Bouncing from 109.50 support level and could test 110 again. If it can crawl back above, then we could maybe see a little bit of rally towards 110.50, maybe a little bit higher. And if it moves back above the cloud area here, then suddenly we have a different situation where we can see an even stronger bounce. But if I just add the Fibonacci level there, we can see where we could move to. I think we could reach 110.50, 51. But above 110.85, well, then we are back in bullish territory. If it breaks below 109.40, then we could see a sell-off down to around 108.80. The euro sterling, that has bounced a little bit stronger than expected. I actually expected the downtrend to resume. It will be key here the next couple of days. If it can get back above 84 and close back above here, well, then it could crawl higher towards 84.30, the previous peak here from the 3rd of October, and maybe even higher. But if it can't get back up there and close back up there, well, then I think we will see it sliding lower towards 83.40, possibly lower. So we are a little bit in at a junction here. We're a little bit on the edge here with euro sterling. The sterling dollar currently below the 786 retracement here, just below 131. What is key is that the RSI is still not below 40 threshold. It needs to close below. Then I think we'll see a push to low to 130 and likely also lower than that. But that will be key here. If it can crawl back above, cable can crawl back above 131, and RSI being rejected as is being now at the 40 threshold, well, then we could see a correction towards 132, 132.70. The yen pairs and dollar yen. Well, dollar yen at first take, it ran out of steam just below 149.40 resistance level, but I think we'll see it having another go because there's positive sentiment on the RSI, and I think we could see that we will have another go at 149.40. If it does break above, well, then there's room up to around 150, 151.85. However, both the 100 and the 200 moving average, they will add to the resistance up here. And you can see 100 is still declining, 200 slightly rising, and the 55 here will drag a little bit on it. So I think it will be fairly limited at the upside potential. If dollar yen slides back below 147.20 and also below the cloud, then I think we would see a downtrend to resume. The euro yen right there. Well, 164 strong resistance, ran out of steam just below it. And let's see, we still have RSI being in negative sentiment, being rejected there at 60 threshold. So maybe that was it. We can also draw a horizontal line here. See, that is the first 163.50. That will be the key. It seems if it takes out that, then I also think it will take out 164. That could be the early warning sign. But if it slides back below the cloud, and if it takes out, and let's just add just a little there, just guiding. If it breaks below 161, then I think we will see it resuming downtrend. The Aussie yen also ran out of steam just below resistance here at 101.77, 102. That will be key. The 100 moving average seems to be a fairly strong one and a strong resistance, and we are now back below 99.90. We could resume downtrend. That will be confirmed if we move below 98. On the sterling yen also 196 is key. A break above that, well, then we are looking at 199.50, 200 maybe spike into that. But if it takes out 189.55, well, then expect a downtrend to resume. So we are a little bit at a crossroad here, or I would say a range that should be observed on more or less all the yen pairs. Aussie dollar, we talked about it yesterday that it could correct lower, and it did, and actually did a little bit lower than expected, I would say. 68 it reached and also took out the 61.8, and now there's actually potential down to 66.90. So 67.45 it took out, sorry, and there's now room down to the 786 retracement at 66.90. I think we'll spike down to that and then keep an eye on what's going on here. If RSI is not closing below 40, it could spike below, but if not closing below, then we could see a rebound. So I could imagine seeing Aussie dollar spiking a little bit lower, 55 moving average and 100 will add some support, and then I think we will see a bounce. On the dollar Canada cross, that has pushed a little bit higher to 136.48. Some resistance there, and also RSI is currently testing 60 threshold. If it's being rejected on both of them, both here up at 136.48 and here at 60 threshold, then we could see dollar Canada sliding back lower. We could see a little spike above, but I think we will see it being rejected. But let's see, keep an eye on that. That will be key levels. There's no promises here. Markets sometimes behave irrational. And we can also see there's a fight going on between the short and medium term moving average. We have the 100 more or less flat. We have the 55 declining, but the 200 are moving up. So there's a fight going on here between short to medium term and a little bit longer term trends. Sterling Canada, still 176.80 key support for that one, and now it's bouncing. If it moves back above the rising trend line there, then I think we will see Sterling Canada resuming uptrend. The Euro Swiss still in this triangle-like pattern. It needs to break out 95 to the upside. It needs to take out the lower rising trend line to the downside, and it will be confirmed by taking out 93.30. Then the downtrend will resume towards 92.50, possibly lower. Dollar Swiss reached the 61.8 retracement at 86, just a little bit above that. And now it's sliding back lower, and I think it could resume downtrend. Also, we had the RSI being rejected at the 60 threshold. If it takes out 86 once again, or it takes out 86 and change, what was it, 86.07, and RSI moves back, then the RSI will be back above 60 threshold, then I expect a push towards 87.30. And finally, the dollar index that pushed higher here the other day through the 101.86 resistance. There's still potential up to 102.60, but it is struggling a little bit. But let's see, we are in a positive sentiment indicating likely higher levels. But as we can see, most of the moving averages, the 200 slightly rising, and the 100 declining, and the 55 declining. So it could be a little bit of a struggle there, but it is in a bullish trend. If it moves back below 101.86, well, then I think we'll see a downtrend to resume. Moving on to gold, and again, let's zoom in because it's a little bit cluttered here. So we have gold very close to testing 26.24. If it takes out that expected sell-off down to 2600, possibly also dipping below and test the lower rising trend line, could actually dip all the way down to the 786 retracement at 25.76. If it's bouncing again, it needs to take out 26.74 and then uptrend will resume. The RSI is actually telling us that we should see higher levels on gold. There's no RSI divergence, but that does mean we can't see a larger correction after this rally up there. We have silver that is in a correction after spiking higher, but it couldn't hold on here Friday evening. If it takes out, and maybe we'll need to add this one just to, there we are. If it takes out 30 spot 85, I always subtract a little bit or add a little bit if the other side. So if it takes out 30 spot 85, then I think we will see a correction down to at least 30 spot 30 spot 20. But it could actually correct all the way down to the 29.70 area here, where we have a 61.8 retracement of the entire uptrend. If it bounces back and again pushes towards 32, 75 and takes it out, well, then we are looking at my medium term to longer term target at 34-35 area. Copper also sell off, taking out support here. I warned about it yesterday. It could do so, to pushing towards 440, but I actually think it could also push all the way down to around 432.70, which is the 61.8 retracement of this uptrend there, and then I think we will see it bouncing back. However, don't be surprised if it also takes out that and dips a little bit lower. We have the 55 coming up here. We have the 200 also coming up, but the 100 is dragging on it a little bit. So there's a fight going on. I can imagine we see a correction down, maybe also below 430. But the longer term view is still bullish. Crude oil, and here we have WTI actually spiked to basically spot on, of a few pips from it, for a few cents from it. The 200% of this corrective move there spiked above minor resistance at 77.60, but we now have RSI in a 60 threshold, meaning that if we close back above 77.60, well, then there's potential up to 80s, but 60 and maybe even higher. If it slides back below I would say below the lows from yesterday, which is at 73.60, then I think we could see a test of 72.40. A close below that, then a downtrend is likely to resume. More or less a similar picture on the Brent crude oil, of course. Didn't get all the way up to its resistance there at 81.58 and didn't get up to 200% of this correction there, sliding back a little bit. But if it does close above 81.60, excuse me, then I think we'll see a push higher towards 85.87. US 10-year Treasury yields, well, it moved up to the 61.8 retracement of this wedge-like pattern here, and above the 4% and above these resistance levels. They're actually closed above, but I think we'll see a little bit of a setback, and we could see a setback down to around 392, 390, but the uptrend is intact. There's no divergence on the RSI. I think we'll push higher in the coming weeks, and potentially up to around 414, 415 level here. There's a little bit resistance here with the 100 moving average and also the 200 moving average in this area here. 55 still dragging on it a little bit, and that's why I think we'll see a correction before a next bullish move. The 2-year spiked just above the 786 retracement at 393, touched the underside of the cloud. I think we'll see a little bit of a setback down to around, and let's just move this one here a little bit, sorry about that, to around 380, 382, and then I think we'll see an uptrend resume, supported by a positive sentiment on the RSI, so there should be room up to 4%, 405, where we have some strong resistance right there. All right, that's all for today, and remember that there will be probably no updates tomorrow, as I will be traveling, but I should be back very early on Thursday. Thank you and have a nice day.